everybody, welcome to Mass Media Galaxy. I'm Brandon, and I just got back from seeing the Todd Phillips flick, War Dogs.
They call guys like us war dogs, bottom feeders who make money off of war without ever stepping foot on the battlefield.
So War Dogs is a really interesting movie. I think this is another movie that, right off the bat, let me say it, they marketed this movie like they marketed Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. They marketed it like it was a comedy. This movie was not a comedy. It was like a intellectual drama, kind of pulling the curtain open on some of the things that happened with the defense industry during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars that are almost still taking place, but currently taking place in 2005, 6, and 7. So, what did I like about this movie? The performances were really good. Miles Teller's kind of mild, but, we know the kid can act. We've seen Whiplash, so he did pretty well. And Jonah Hill, man, this guy has become one of my favorite actors. You'll never forget his laugh when you see this movie. But overall, I mean, it's a decent movie. I don't know if it deserves its critic rating that it's get. I think it's floating around the 50s in the Rotten Tomato. But I think it's right where it needs to be, split right down the middle. Now, there's some very interesting scenes in this movie that tell this based on a true story. It's like a horror film. Some of the stuff in this movie I think I have a bigger problem with is that it's almost unbelievable. I don't know how to the true story this movie was, but it was kind of hard to buy some of the things that they were selling in this movie. How people can be so good at running these defense industries, these small little bits as they call them, that they're kind of getting the little pieces and not the whole pie. Another thing in this movie is it's kind of built out in chapters. Every chapter begins with a quote that you will eventually hear. There's about 5 of them in the flick, and I gotta say that kind of ruins the flow of the movie. If the movie didn't have that stuff to kind of bring you out of it. I mean, as you're enjoying the scene and you're getting into it, and then boom, it throws a quote across the board, and then the whole time you're just sitting there anticipating the quote. This movie also begins with a wraparound, which, once again, wraparounds are completely unnecessary. Todd Phillips has done some of this stuff in his other work, but the wraparound in this movie didn't really make any sense. You could have started the story where it should have began, where it does begin in a lot of the trailers, that massage therapy scene where the guy drops the towel off on Miles Teller, and could have gone from there. And then my biggest problem with this movie overall was that they didn't resolve anything at the end, and it kind of skips past a lot of important information that I think as a viewer I should have been told in order to understand what was actually happening. I think at this point we just see a story about 2 people who did something and eventually get caught doing something illegal and get in trouble for it. And most of the time in those kind of stories, they actually give you the small bits of information like The Big Short. That movie almost had too much information in it, and this movie, on the opposite hand, has very little information in it. So you kind of have to draw from your own mind and your own, perception of things happening during the war in order to kind of really get the focus of the movie. But standout performances. Bradley Cooper looks hysterical with big glasses on. And, it's a Todd Phillips movie. You can really tell his feel in the movie. It's shot very well. Overall, I don't think I'd recommend seeing this movie in the theater. It might be worth it on Blu-ray. If your friend has it and you borrow it from them, whenever it comes out on VOD, maybe a decent rent. But I definitely wouldn't go spend money to see this movie. And once again, man, market movies the way that they should. If they marketed this movie as an interesting look at some of the defense contractors during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars like 10 years ago, I think more people would have seen it. It's doing okay, but, stop marketing movies like a comedy when they're not a comedy. This movie wasn't all that funny. It was just, the comedy is situational. However, the movie was kind of an informative drama like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Thank you, everybody, for watching Mass Media Galaxy again. I am Brandon. Remember to follow me on Twitter at TheyKnowStayDead. Visit our website, massmediagalaxy.com. Visit comicsalaxy.com as well. You can find all of Eric's movie. Eric was not here. You can find all of his comic book reviews and thoughts and stuff that he has. And we'll be back with a Kubo and 2 strings and a Ben-Hur here pretty shortly. So thank you for watching. Take care.